On the night of my business launch, every table I had set aside for family stayed empty. They all chose my brother's poker night instead. As I locked up, a stranger shook my hand. "We want to invest 6 figures." Learning about it the next day, my phone showed 89 missed calls from Mom. But before responding, I made a decision. It was supposed to be the biggest night of my life. The kind you dream about while grinding in silence, thinking maybe, just maybe, your hard work will finally mean something. I had spent the last 2 years pouring every single piece of myself into this place, my restaurant. No investors, no loans, just me. Saving every penny I could from catering gigs and side hustles while working 12-hour shifts in kitchens most people wouldn't survive in for a week. I lived small, worked big, and never let anyone talk me out of it. I wanted the opening night to be a thank you to the people who raised me. I didn't grow up rich, but I figured love was always in abundance. Or so I thought. I reserved 23 seats just for them. Not just my parents, but my aunts, uncles, cousins, and of course, my brother Ryan. I placed their name cards myself. I paid for everything. Food, drinks, even transportation if they needed it. No excuses. This wasn't just a business launch. It was my life's work finally coming to life. And all I wanted was for them to be there to see it. I sent a message that morning in our family group chat. "Tonight's the night. Everything I've worked for wouldn't be the same without you guys." They responded like everything was fine. My mom even sent one of those long messages about how proud she was, followed by a bunch of emojis. I didn't see any red flags. 6 p.m. sharp. The doors opened. We were full by 6:45. It was a good crowd. I greeted guests, posed for some pictures, shook hands, and tried to stay grounded. But every 10 minutes or so, I'd glance at the corner tables with the reserved signs still untouched. 7:15, nothing. I told myself maybe they were stuck somewhere. Maybe they all planned to show up together, make a big entrance, surprised me. By 8 p.m., I knew. I stopped looking. The staff kept asking if they should seat other guests there, and I just told them to leave it. I couldn't bring myself to admit they weren't coming. By 9 o'clock, the place was quieting down. The last customers saying their goodbyes. I was still in the back pretending to do inventory just to avoid talking to anyone. 9:48 p.m. I walked outside to lock up, dead tired, and honestly embarrassed. Then this guy walks up, middle-aged, wearing a gray overcoat, clean, sharp, not flashy, but clearly not average either. He looked at me like he already knew me. "You Jack?" "Yeah." "You open this?" "Yeah." He reached out his hand. Firm shake. "Good work. Real good. I've been watching your build for a while." Quietly. "We're looking to invest. Serious backing. 6 figures if you're interested. Call me tomorrow." He handed me a card and walked off without another word. I stood there for a long time. I didn't even check the card. My phone buzzed. I looked down. 89 missed calls. All from my mom. Not a single text. That's when I knew where they'd been. Poker night at Ryan's house. Every single one of them. They ditched the opening of my life's work for his stupid weekly poker game. And before I walked back in, before I turned off the lights, I made a decision. I'd hear what they had to say. But this time, I was done pretending their silence didn't mean something. I didn't call her back that night. I didn't even leave the restaurant. I sat in my office for a while with the lights off, just listening to the faint buzz of the cooler and the street noise outside. Eventually, I laid down on the leather bench in the hallway and drifted off. It wasn't sleep, just an exhausted sort of nothing. When I woke up, it was already past 9 a.m. My phone had died. I plugged it in behind the bar and went to make a pot of coffee, but the machine still smelled like burned espresso from last night. I stood there staring at it, and I think that was the moment the disappointment started turning into something else. Not anger, not yet, just clarity. When the phone came back on, the screen was a wall of missed calls. My mom, my brother, 2 cousins, a voicemail from my aunt. I didn't listen to any of them. I only called one person back, my mother. She answered immediately like she'd been sitting by the phone waiting. She didn't ask how it went. Didn't say sorry. She just launched into an explanation. No an excuse. Said they were all at Ryan's place. He told them he was going to stream the opening on his TV so they could all support from home. That's what she said. Support from home. Then she told me it turned into a poker night. Said they got carried away, that it was fun. I just stood there listening, gripping the bar counter, thinking how easy it was for them to turn a night that meant everything to me into a casual get-together, like I didn't matter. She started crying, told me they all felt awful, that they wanted to come by that evening to celebrate with me, bring over some cake, maybe take pictures, and make a post for Facebook to show support. I told her, yeah, sure. Let me know when. Then I didn't show up. I didn't even unlock the restaurant that night. Let them stand there with their sheet cake and plastic forks wondering where I was. The day after that around noon, I was scrubbing down one of the counters when Martin walked in. Martin's my parents' neighbor. Retired guy, knows everyone's business and doesn't try to hide it. He was smiling like he had inside information. He congratulated me on the investor. Said he saw the whole thing from across the street, right as he was walking his dog. Apparently, he was there the moment that guy shook my hand. Heard everything. I told him clearly that nothing was confirmed, that it was private, that I wasn't ready to talk about it yet. Martin nodded, promised he'd keep quiet, then asked if I'd think about naming a dish after his dog. 2 hours later, a text popped up from Jessica, my cousin. Heard about the investor. That's amazing. So happy for you, slightly smiling face. 5 minutes after that, my phone buzzed again. This time it was my brother calling. I didn't pick up. He texted right after. Let's talk. We've got ideas. This could be big for all of us. That line, for all of us, stuck with me. Suddenly, it wasn't just my project anymore. Now that money was in the picture, it had turned into a family project. They were already carving up something that didn't even exist yet. The rest of the day, I just watched the messages roll in. My aunt suggesting monthly family tasting nights. My uncle asking if I'd thought about franchising. A cousin hinting about job openings in case she wanted a career change. Nobody mentioned poker night. Nobody mentioned the empty chairs that I didn't reply to anyone. Instead, I opened a new spreadsheet on my laptop. Not a menu, not a staff schedule. This one was a list of names, of comments, of every single person who hadn't shown up when it counted. I wasn't angry anymore. Not even sad. Just done pretending we were still the same. And I knew what was next. They were going to start asking for things that IT began small. Aunt Karen dropped by the next afternoon with a bottle of wine and 2 bakery pies. Said she was just nearby. No mention of poker night. No question about how opening night went. Just told me the place looked wonderful and I must be proud. Then she asked if I'd thought about a brunch menu. Said her neighbor's daughter needed work. 16 years old. Responsible. Loved food. I told her we weren't hiring. She lingered another 10 minutes, then left the pies on the counter and said, remember who's always been there for you. I stood there staring at the pies, coconut cream and banana. I don't even eat either. 2 days later, Ryan showed up. No text, just walked in like it was his. Gave me a long hug, patted my back, told me how proud he was. I stayed behind the counter wiping already clean glasses. He started in about the investor, said he'd heard it was a 6-figure deal, that if I played it right, we could scale this place, maybe open another one within a year. I didn't confirm or deny. Then he got to the point. He and his wife were looking to buy a bigger place, 2 stories, backyard, good school nearby, but the rates were killing them. Then he looked me dead in the eye and said, you know, if we go in on this together, I could handle the expansion side. You focus on food, and we both win. I didn't say anything. Not for a full minute. I just looked at him. He kept talking, words like legacy and partnership. I told him I'd think about it. He left smiling. That night, I stayed late at the restaurant, staring at the name cards I hadn't thrown away. All of them, Ryan, Mom, Karen, Uncle Ed, lined up like they had actually shown up. Martin texted again, asking if he could bring his book club, then mentioned Mom was planning a big family dinner at the restaurant, posting about it online like it was hers to claim. I didn't respond. By the end of the week, 3 more relatives had stopped by. One asked if I'd cater her daughter's Sweet 16. Another wanted her husband's craft beer on the menu. None of them said sorry. None even mentioned missing the opening. They all just had plans that somehow involved me. So I listened. I let them talk, let them dream, because I already knew what I was going to do. I wasn't going to fight or call them out. I'd let them build the fantasy, and then I'd be the one to end it. 2 weeks later, I walked in to find Mom at table 6, sipping coffee like it was her usual spot. She pulled out a notepad full of ideas, loyalty programs, merch, family on payroll. Said we could keep the money in the family. I just nodded. She left a $5 bill on the table like she was a customer. I didn't touch it. Days later, the investor called. We met again, this time with 2 suits. They handed me a folder, full proposal, licensing, expansion, a second location. Not 6 figures, closer to 7, depending on scale. I didn't say yes right away. But 2 days later, I did that. I sat in my office realizing the people who claimed to love me only cared once a stranger saw value in me. When I said I was moving forward, they celebrated, but for themselves. My uncle suddenly remembered he knew logistics. Josh wanted me to sponsor his podcast. Mom texted about keeping blessings in the circle. Then Ryan showed up with his wife and a woman I didn't know. He admitted poker night was his idea, that he told everyone not to come. Said he was tired of me being the golden one, that it was his idea for me to start the restaurant, and he wanted equity, not a job, ownership. I told him I'd think about it. That night, I printed my decision, a letter, final and clear. I invited the whole family to dinner, same group chat they'd ignored weeks before. They showed up dressed like it was a gala, laughing, taking selfies, filling the tables that had once sat empty. I let them eat, served them everything, no shortcuts. When they were waiting for the big reveal, I set down a stack of envelopes. Inside, the letter, the business was mine alone. The investment was real. No partners, no family hires, no legacy shares. Just one exception, a one-time $1,000 gift for Ryan's baby. Not for him. I told them calmly not to try anymore. Not to drop by, not to pitch ideas, not to ask for things. This chapter was closed. They made their choice the night they didn't show up. Now I was making mine. The room went quiet, then unraveled. Mom cried. Karen called me ungrateful. Uncle Ed laughed that I'd regret it. Josh asked if I was joking. Only Ryan stayed silent, letter in hand. Martin appeared near the door, watching. I told them to finish their meals, then left out the back. By morning, they were gone. No thank you, no notes. I didn't need any. I had everything I needed. Their faces, their words, their absence. After that, silence. The once busy family group chat went dead. No calls, no guilt trips, nothing. They weren't ashamed of missing my opening. They were ashamed they missed the reward. When they realized there'd be no slice of the pie, they vanished. Meanwhile, the restaurant took off. Press came, investors moved faster than expected. A second location opened before the quarter ended, then a third. I promoted from within. The line cook, now head chef, the old delivery guy running operations. No relatives, no favors. Then a package arrived. My mom's handwriting. Inside, a photo of me and Ryan as kids, ice cream melting, dirt streaked and smiling. On the back, don't forget where you came from. No apology, just nostalgia, hoping I'd crack. I didn't. I filed it away. Later I heard Ryan's family was struggling, and my mom was telling people I'd changed. I didn't respond. I didn't gloat. I just kept moving. I never wanted to be better than them. I only wanted to matter. But now I didn't need to. For the first time, I wasn't chasing their approval. The silence they left me with wasn't loneliness. It was peace.